You'd talk too much. That's the problem. Every time you explain yourself, you lose leverage. Every time you rush to respond, you give away control. Dangerous men don't do that. They pause. They watch. They let others expose everything first. Look at Thomas Shelby. Not what he says, but what he withholds. That's where the power is. Silence isn't emptiness. It's pressure. And most people can't handle it, so they fill it with mistakes. If you learn to stay quiet when others expect noise, you flip the dynamic instantly. This isn't about being quiet. It's about becoming untouchable without saying a word. You think your voice creates your value. It does not. It only exposes how badly you need validation. A third person watching you would see the pattern. You rush to speak before silence settles. You answer before questions are fully formed. You explain before anyone even asks. That is not confidence. That is dependence on being heard. And dependence is weakness. Thomas Shelby never chased attention. He removed the need for it completely. In a room full of noise, he would become still, not passive, not invisible, still enough that others felt it. You think silence makes you disappear. It does the opposite. It forces people to notice you because they cannot read you. And when people cannot read you, they begin to question themselves. That is where control begins. You right now are easy to read. Your tone shifts when you feel pressure. Your words increase when you feel ignored. Your explanations grow when you feel judged. A man like Thomas Shelby would never allow that level of access. He would listen longer than necessary, speak shorter than expected, and leave before he is fully understood. That is how you handle it. You do not need to prove anything. You remove the need to prove it all. Because the moment you try to be understood, you lower your position. You bring yourself down to the level of explanation. And explanation is always a sign of doubt. Shelby understood this at a level most never reach. He spoke when necessary, and when he did, there was no excess. No emotional leakage, no wasted words, just precision. You, on the other hand, speak to fill space. You talk to feel relevant. You explain to avoid being misunderstood. But dangerous men accept being misunderstood. They use it. They let others build false assumptions, because assumptions create mistakes, and mistakes create openings. You're trying to be clear when you should be controlled. You're trying to be liked when you should be respected. A third person speaking in Shelby tone would tell you this directly. Stop talking so much. Stop reacting so quickly. Stop explaining what does not need explanation. If you were in his position, you would slow everything down. You would answer only when it serves you. You would stay silent when silence creates pressure. And you would let others expose their intentions first. That is the difference between you and a man who does not need to be heard. One seeks attention, the other controls it. One fills silence, the other uses it. One explains, the other observes. And in that difference lies power, real power. The kind that does not need validation, the kind that does not announce itself, the kind that people feel before a single word is spoken. That is the standard Thomas Shelby represents. Not noise, not dominance through volume, but control through restraint. Learn that and you stop being just another voice in the room. You become the man they watch instead. And that is where influence begins. Not when you speak, but when others start adjusting themselves around your silence. Watch closely how people behave when you stop giving them words. They become restless. They try harder. They reveal more than they should. That is leverage. And leverage is everything. Shelby never needed to raise his voice because the room was already listening. He was still trying to earn that attention. He removed the need to earn it completely. So understand this clearly. The less you need to be heard, the more people will listen. The less you explain, the more they will think about you. The less you react, the more they will respect you. This is not theory. This is behavioral truth proven in every room where power exists. Apply it, and you change the way people see you. Ignore it, and you remain predictable, replaceable, and easily dismissed. The choice is simple. Talk less, observe more, and control what you reveal. Do that long enough and you will understand exactly why men like Thomas Shelby never needed to be heard, be feared, or respected. They already were. And that is exactly who you need to become starting now. You think silence is weakness. He knows it's a weapon. A third-person observer would look at you and say, you react too fast. Someone challenges you, you answer. Someone doubts you, you explain. Someone disrespects you, you try to correct it with words. That's where you lose. Thomas Shelby would never rush to respond, not because he has nothing to say, but because he understands timing is power. In a tense moment, while others speak to defend themselves, he stays still, and that stillness, it creates pressure. You don't control pressure, you release it by talking. He doesn't. When someone throws words at you, they're not just speaking, they're testing you, testing your patience, your control, your emotional stability. And every time you answer immediately, you show them exactly where you stand. Predictable, readable, exposed. Thomas Shelby, in that same situation, would let the silence stretch long enough to make the other person uncomfortable, long enough for them to question themselves, because silence forces people to fill gaps, and when they do, they reveal more than they should. You think speaking gives you control. It doesn't. Control comes from restraint. You don't need to win every conversation. You need to control the direction of it. And silence does that better than any argument ever will. Watch closely. The man who says less listens more, and the one who listens more understands everything. That's where the advantage is built. You speak to prove a point. He stays quiet to collect information. Different mindset, different outcome. Thomas Shelby never wasted silence. He used it to observe tone, body language, intention. While others were busy talking, he was already 10 steps ahead. And you're still trying to be understood. That's the mistake. Dangerous men don't need to be understood. They need to be respected. And respect doesn't come from explaining yourself. It comes from showing control under pressure. Silence shows that. When you don't react, people don't know where you stand. And when they don't know where you stand, they become cautious, careful, defensive. That's power shifting without a single word. You need to understand this clearly. Not every situation deserves your voice. Some situations demand your silence, because silence isn't absence, it's presence without permission. Thomas Shelby would sit there, say nothing, and still dominate the entire room, not by force, not by volume, but by control. And that's what you're missing. You think power is loud. It's not. Power is quiet, controlled, measured. So next time you feel the urge to respond instantly, don't. Pause. Let the silence build, and watch how quickly the dynamic changes. Not because you said something powerful, but because you chose not to say anything at all. You don't lack strength. You lack control. You react too fast. Someone disrespects you. You answer. Someone questions you. You explain. Someone tests you. You explain. Someone tests you. You prove yourself. And every time you do that, you lose. A third-person observer would tell you this clearly. A man who reacts is a man who can be controlled. Look at Thomas Shelby. Not what he says, how he waits, how he studies the room before giving anything away. He doesn't give reactions for free. Neither should you. Emotional discipline isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about deciding who gets to see them and when. Right now, people can read you. Your anger shows. Your insecurity leaks. Your excitement exposes your intentions. And once they read you, they own you. You think reacting makes you real. It doesn't. It makes you predictable. And predictable men are easy to manipulate. A man like Shelby, he delays everything. A question comes. He pauses. Pressure builds. He stays still. Conflict appears. He observes first. That delay is power. Because while you're reacting, he's calculating. You need to understand this. The moment you show emotion without control, you hand over leverage. Anger, they'll provoke you again. Fear, they'll corner you. Neediness, they'll withdraw and make you chase. This is how most men lose, not through weakness, but through exposure. A third-person voice would warn you, you don't need to feel less. You need to reveal less. Control your face. Control your tone. Control your timing, because discipline isn't loud. It's silent and precise. Think about it. When someone tries to read you and finds nothing, what happens? They get uncomfortable. They hesitate. They second-guess themselves. That's where control shifts. Thomas Shelby understood one thing: you're still learning. Mystery creates pressure, and pressure breaks people. You don't win by expressing everything. You win by holding back just enough to make others unsure. So next time you feel the urge to react, don't. Let the silence sit. Let them wonder. Let them reveal more than they should. Because the man who controls his emotions controls the outcome. And right now, you're still giving yours away too easily. Cancel. Send. You're too easy to read. That's your weakness. People look at you, listen to you for a few seconds, and they already know what you're about. Your reactions are predictable. Your tone gives you away. Your intentions are visible before you even act. And once a man is readable, he's controllable. A third-person observer would tell you this straight. Power begins where predictability ends. You think honesty is strength. You think being open builds respect. It doesn't. It builds comfort, and comfort kills authority. Thomas Shelby never made people comfortable. He made them uncertain, and uncertainty creates distance. Distance creates respect. You, on the other hand, explain too much. You react too fast. You show your hand before the game even begins. That's not confidence. That's exposure. A man who cannot control what he reveals cannot control anything. Shelby understood this at a level most never will. He didn't need to threaten. He didn't need to shout. People adjusted around him because they couldn't figure him out. That's the position you lack. Right now, people know how you'll react. They know what bothers you. They know how to get a response out of you, which means they control the interaction. You want power? And stop being understood so easily. Pause before you react. Hold your expressions longer than necessary. Say less than what's expected. Not to play games, but to remove access. Because every reaction you give is information, and information is leverage against you. A third-person voice would say, Thomas Shelby never rushed to reveal intent. He let people guess, and in guessing, they expose themselves. That's the shift you need. When you become unreadable, people start watching you more closely. They second-guess themselves. They hesitate, and hesitation is where control is born. You don't need to act mysterious. You need to be disciplined. Stop explaining your decisions. Stop reacting to every opinion. Stop showing every emotion the moment you feel it. Control what is seen. Delay what is revealed. Because the less people understand you, the more carefully they deal with you. And careful behavior is respect in disguise. Thomas Shelby wasn't powerful because people liked him. He was powerful because people couldn't predict him. That's the difference. So ask yourself, when people look at you, do they feel certainty or doubt? Because certainty makes you manageable, but doubt makes you dangerous. And dangerous men, they don't get figured out. You think presence comes from speaking well. It doesn't. It comes from control. Over yourself, over your movements, over your need to be noticed. A third-person observer would tell you this clearly. You're trying too hard to be seen, adjusting your posture, forcing your voice, filling silence so people don't forget you exist. That's weakness. The man with presence doesn't ask for attention. He removes the need for it. Look at Thomas Shelby. Not what he says, but how he stands, how he waits, how he looks at people without rushing to speak. He doesn't perform, he occupies. And that's what you fail to understand. Presence is not created in the moment you speak. It's established long before that. You walk into a room, scanning for approval. He walks in already certain. You adjust yourself to fit the environment. He forces the environment to adjust to him. That's the difference. You keep thinking you need better words. No, you need fewer needs. Stop fidgeting. Stop over-explaining your expressions. Stop breaking eye contact like you owe people comfort. Hold your ground. A third-person voice would point it out without emotion. If you can't sit still, you can't control anything. Stillness is not emptiness, it's pressure. And people feel it immediately. That's why when someone like Shelby is present, conversations slow down. People become careful, not because he said something, but because he didn't. You rush to speak because silence makes you uncomfortable. He stays silent because it makes others uncomfortable. He stays silent because it makes others uncomfortable. And that's control. You don't need to dominate the room with noise. You dominate it by removing the need to compete. Pause before you move. Look before you respond. Let people sit in uncertainty when they expect clarity. That tension you're afraid of, that's where authority lives. A third-person observer would say, Shelby never tried to impress. He didn't need to. His presence made people question themselves before questioning him. Right now, you're doing the opposite. You're trying to prove your value in every moment. Stop. Presence isn't built through effort. It's built through restraint. The less you seek validation, the more naturally it comes to you. So next time you walk into a room, don't speak first. Don't move unnecessarily. Don't explain your energy. Just stand, just observe, and let people feel something they can't explain. That's presence. You speak too much, and every extra word is costing you respect. A third-person observer, speaking in the tone of men like Thomas Shelby, would tell you this directly. The moment you start explaining yourself, you lower your position. You think talking builds authority. It doesn't. It exposes need. Need to be understood. Need to be accepted. Need to be right. And the moment people sense that need, they stop respecting you. Thomas Shelby never rushed to clarify himself. He didn't correct every misunderstanding. He let people sit in uncertainty, because uncertainty creates pressure, and pressure shifts power. You, on the other hand, try to control perception by speaking more. You over-explain your decisions. You justify your actions. You defend your position before anyone even challenges it. That's not competence. That's insecurity trying to sound organized. A man in control doesn't rush to be understood. He lets others figure him out, or fail trying. Shelby operated like that. Few words, clear tone, no repetition. He didn't speak to convince. He spoke when the outcome was already decided. That's the level you haven't reached yet. Right now, your words are too available, too frequent, too predictable, and people don't respect what they can easily access. The more you talk, the less people listen. The more you explain, the less they value your decisions. The more you try to prove yourself, the less they believe you. A third-person voice would make it simple for you. Respect isn't built through communication. It's built through control. Control of timing, control of response, control of response, control of silence. Thomas Shelby understood that silence filters people. Those who matter stay patient. Those who don't expose themselves quickly. But you don't allow that process. You interrupt it with unnecessary words. You answer questions that weren't asked. You explain things that didn't need explanation. You speak just to avoid silence. And that's where you lose. Because silence isn't your enemy. It's your advantage. If you can, Asia. Most people can't. That's why they talk. That's why they overshare. That's why they lose authority without realizing it. So understand this clearly. You don't gain respect by adding more words. You gain it by removing the unnecessary ones. Say less. Mean more. Pause longer than expected. Let people feel the gap. Because in that gap, power is built. And once you master that, you won't need to demand respect anymore. It will show up the moment you stop talking. You speak because you're uncomfortable. That's the first weakness. A third-person observer would tell you this clearly. The moment you feel the urge to explain, justify, or respond instantly, that's the exact moment you should stay silent. Because discipline isn't about control when it's easy. It's about control when your instincts are screaming at you to react. You're not silent because you're strong. You're silent because you've trained yourself not to leak power. Thomas Shelby understood this at a level most men never reach. He didn't speak to release pressure. He let the pressure build in others. And you? You do the opposite. You rush to answer. You rush to defend. You rush to prove. That's not communication. That's exposure. The discipline of saying less starts here. Not every situation deserves your voice. You think staying quiet makes you look weak. It doesn't. It makes people uncertain, and uncertainty is where control begins. A man like Shelby wouldn't respond to every opinion thrown at him. He would measure the value of the moment, then decide if it even deserves a word. Most of the time it doesn't. You need to understand this. Your words are a resource. Right now, you spend them like they're worthless. Talking too much is not confidence. It's a lack of restraint. And restraint is what separates controlled men from emotional ones. You feel the need to fill silence because you're afraid of being judged. But the truth is, the more you talk, the more material you give people to judge you with. So you cut it. You reduce your words to only what's necessary, nothing more. Thomas Shelby didn't waste sentences. He delivered statements. Short, precise, final. That's discipline. You don't explain your decisions. You don't argue your value. You don't chase understanding. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, they're not supposed to. That mindset alone removes 80% of unnecessary speech from your life. And here's where it becomes dangerous. When you stop over-talking, people start overthinking. They analyze your silence. They question your intention. They fill the gaps with their own assumptions. That's control, without effort. But you won't reach that level without discomfort, because silence will feel heavy at first. It will feel unnatural. You'll want to break it. Don't. Let it sit. Let it stretch. Because the man who can sit in silence without needing to escape it is the man who owns the moment. A third-person voice would say this plainly. Thomas Shelby didn't become powerful by speaking more. He became powerful by needing less. Less validation, less reaction, less explanation. And that's where you're heading, if you're willing to cut the noise. So next time you feel the urge to speak, pause. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Or am I just trying to be seen? If it's the second one, stay quiet. Because discipline isn't in what you say. It's in what you refuse to say. And that is where power lives. Most men destroy their own power with their mouths. You won't. You've seen the pattern now. The less you speak, the more you control. The more you hold back, the more others reveal. Silence isn't absence. It's authority. Men like Thomas Shelby were never loud. They were precise, rare, calculated. So from this moment, you have a choice. Keep talking and stay predictable, or say less and become impossible to read. Now prove it. Don't just agree silently. That's easy. Drop one word in the comments, silent. If you hesitate, you've already exposed yourself.